Hey there, brother and sister. Vessel of Truth here, Jay from Virginia for the new people. And just wanted to hopefully jump on here and do a short video. Um, been looking around on YouTube and reading reply to comments and so on and so forth. And kind of made me think about a few things. And just kind of wanted to bring a few things up to give you all something to think about. All the way back in the Garden of Eden at creation, the enemy come in with lies and half-truths and, of course, deceive the woman, which, also bled over to the man, and they both fell, and the rest, as we say, is history. But you figure many events have happened where our adversary has much help. You figure he brought down a third of the angelic host. He fooled a third of the angelic host of Yahuwah. Now, nobody knows how many that is, but I guarantee it's way more than we could probably count. Because you figure, just in the word of Yahuwah, it tells us, that before the throne of Yahuwah was 10,000 times 10,000s and thousands and thousands of angels. So if there's still that many left in the heavenly realm, how many fell with our adversary? Now, the fact that our adversary was deceptive enough to fool the angelic host, what makes you think that you can't be fooled? Something to think about. My point is for some time now, there is a total absence of the belief of absolute rights and absolute wrongs, but yet the word of Yahuwah is set upon absolute right. That being the law and Torah of Yahuwah are the absolute rights. It is the linchpin of what we are to do and live by and obey, because being disobedient to it reveals what sin is. So, ever since Moses gave us the law, way back in the Old Testament, the enemy has muddied the waters with lies, half-truths, outright deception. And from that time forward, even before, there has been the attachment of spirits to things. You figure music channels spirits. The very fact of the invention of television, lie, vision, doesn't matter what a person chooses to watch, there are spirits involved that can attach to you, because spirits are transferable. If you are, dabbling in wicked programming or wicked shows, or even what you would think is to be innocent, like in the cartoons where they have witches and devils and so on and so forth. There are spirits attached to that. You figure television, they are channeling programming. These are occultic practices, that has been slipped in right under the noses of people because people think that they're just so smart nowadays that they can't be fooled. And what got me on this is, I reached out to a brother. I thought, hey, I would like to help this person, but he's caught up into this bullcrap lie of man's doctrine of, rapture and all this stuff. And, so I reached out to him to try to, help him. And, he wanted to come back and, say that I'm full of pride because I'm reaching out to him to try to help him, to show him the truth. But yet I'm full of pride. It's not like I was demanding that he, do anything. I just give him the information that he needed to see the truth. But yet, I'm full of pride. And I guarantee he never even bothered to look at what I said. He just dismissed it. Arrogance. But, that's one of those slippery slopes, of between the absolute right and the absolute wrong. People listen to music. They like the beat, they like the vibe, they like, the tones, the pitches, or whatever. But most people don't really pay attention to the words. How many of you have seen, these clips, on shows where you see, I'm talking like 6, 7, 8, 9-year-old people, little children, and they're just singing right along with, these songs. One of the biggest things is like, the rap nowadays, because, that gangster rap. And they're just, every other word, F this, S this, B, all the cuss words out. Not to mention using GD. And these little kids are just singing right along. But yet, if you go and you ask the parents about it, it's just music. It's no big deal. And then bring in all this other stuff, that's been slid in. The beast feasts. Now, most people think that beast feasts are just Christmas and Easter. Well, I'm sorry to tell you, beast feasts is every single man-made holiday. We're talking birthdays, we're talking Mother's Day, Father's Day, Valentine's Day, Halloween, you name it, it's man-made. It is a beast feast. They have demonic origins. It's an absolute truth that people don't want to hear because it's innocent. Brother and sister, there's no such thing as innocence anymore unless you are a newborn baby. That is innocent. Anything other than that will be used to deceive you. If you're not checking every little aspect of every little thing that's in your life, I dare say there's strings attached that lead to the dark side. I guarantee it. There was an individual made famous, through music of Ozzy Osbourne and others. His name was Aleister Crowley. And he was a very evil man, but he was the one who penned the phrase, "Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law." In other words, whatsoever a man wants to do it. It's fine. It doesn't matter if it's sexual depravity or lying or cheating or stealing or killing or whatever. All's good. Just didn't matter. Whatever floats your boat. And that seems to be the way society is going. You figure every turn, children's shows, they're now cramming down your throat total moralless, godlessness. Well, I can't say godless because they're pushing evil, self-will. You know, that's why the New Age is so abundant. You have these people, you know, that believe in, for one, the globe Earth and the ever-expanding universe. So they believe in little green men or just other beings of higher evolution. And what do? They automatically, for some reason, they feel like they're different. They don't belong here. They have a longing for something other than this. So they go and they'll talk to a guru or whatever to find out what's wrong with them. And this guru, you know, they're going to channel some spirits, but yet they're actually talking to these higher beings. And they're going to tell you, oh, you're different. You're not from here. That's why you have a longing. And they're going to direct you, you know, to these different books. You know, and as soon as they pick up these books and start reading these books, they're opening doors to spirits. And you know, people don't understand that the Father is very legalistic. Not only does he have to abide by his law, we do. So do the spirits on the other side. So if I, being ignorant and stupid of Satan's devices, or Gadriel, whoever you want to call him, Lucifer, most people know him as Satan, so I'll use that term, and I go and pick up, you know, say, the Satanic Bible, and I'm reading it, I now have opened a door for demonic spirits to come and oppress me and even possibly possess me, depending on where my will is. And the Father cannot do anything about it because legally that spirit has a right to you because you, through ignorance or whatever, opened that door. So if you're allowing, you know, your children to listen to, you know, godless music or music that, you know, worships the devil, that, you know, these artists have signed a contract in blood with the adversary, you know, for fame and fortune of this world. Their spirit, their music now is channeling spirits through the words. I guarantee, go and look at some of these lyrics of songs. And, you know, people can sing right along. They don't even, all they can do is hear the music and they can just start rattling off the words. But yet, the funny thing is without the music, most people can't say the words. Why? Because there's a spirit of it. Absolute right, absolute wrong, you know. Then you have the whole emotion center of people. They cannot stand to be corrected. That's why most people have a problem with the Father, you know. The Father chastises those who he loves. But yet, if it just ticks you off whenever, you know, someone tries to help you, not even in a chastisement way, you just get all bitter and bent out of shape. There's pride and arrogance there. And there's spirits attached to it. You know, we're commanded to rule are members. But yet, most people can't. We all have our weaknesses, yes, and we all have our moments. We can all be fine at one time, and then certain events all together take a toll, and you'll have that moment of weakness and, whatever. But if we are to rule ourselves as the Father tells us, allow His Spirit to lead us and guide us at all times, keeping our mind and our thoughts on the things of the Father, of His Word, His truth. We're commanded to walk and serve in spirit and in truth. That way we don't fulfill the lusts of the flesh. There's no way that the enemy can tempt us, because he's surely not going to tempt you with the things of the Father. And if you're, keeping yourself away from the things of the world, and this is where, there's so much problems. Everything in this world, the enemy has corrupted. Nothing is innocent anymore. And, people don't want to hear that, you don't need to do this, you don't need to do that, this. All they want to say is you're being judgmental, or you're being a fanatic, or a fuddy-duddy. Because in their mind, they're just having fun. They're just unwinding. Yes, there are people that take things too far. And that would be, like your pew setting people that, says, you can't even drink alcohol because, the Bible says we're not to drink. Well, actually, the Bible says we're not to drink in excess. And, when you go back and you actually read some of the functions of the feasts of the Father, you'll find out that, we're commanded to have strong drink, alcoholic beverage there. But we're just not supposed to drink in excess. Everything with the Father is orderly. There is no confusion. But yet, you have to have that sense of knowledge, of knowing the absolute right and absolute wrongs. Today, in the so-called Fourwall Church entity, that line has been erased, because just look at some of these churches, they're full of moral depravity, greed. They have their own cliques. There is no unity. You figure the left side of the church has no clue who the right side of the church is. And the people in the middle don't know left or right. There is no togetherness. There's no true bond or love. But look at these evil religions. Say like the Muslims. They're all about their faith. Togetherness. They're all about, doing what their religion says. And enforcing it. And spreading it. Say what you want about the Mormons. You figure as they are growing up, they have to fulfill so much time going out into the highways and the byways, knocking door to door, trying to share their faith. Yeah, they're messed up in the head and believing a bunch of lies. They're believing in false prophets and all this stuff. Joseph Smith was, channeling spirits And, they added all kinds of demonic garbage to the word of Yahuwah, which is sin. But my hat's off to them, because they go out into the highways and the byways, door to door to door. So do the Jehovah Witnesses. Are you? How about the Satanic Church? They're all about helping their members out. They don't have a problem about doing their rituals for whoever their members are. I mean, think about the added links these people go to. They'll go and they'll draw their pentagrams and they'll light up their candles and they'll do their sacrifices, all for the members of their faith. They have no problem telling people about it. They're not ashamed of it. It's funny. It's now more acceptable to say that you are a Satanist or, a lesbian or a gay or whatever, anything that has no morals to it. You're just part of the club. But for a person to stand up and say that I'm a child of Yahuwah, the creator of all that is, automatically you're demonized. You're going to be targeted. You're going to be made fun of. People don't want no part of you. All because right is now wrong and wrong is now right. Evil is good and good is evil. It goes right back to absolute right and absolute wrong. Why am I talking about, all these things of the world having spirits attached to them? My point in everything is this. Most things are not what they seem to be. Just like most people are not what they portray to be. I mean, use myself as an example. Anybody can get on YouTube and make a channel and say whatever they want. Because people really think that they're special. Or what they think or what they have to say, everybody needs to hear. Because they have this whacked out sense of importance. Which is wrong. That's why I do my best. I don't want to give my opinions. Yes, I have opinions. I have my own thoughts. I have my own stuff, but it's what the Father says that matters. My words, my thoughts, my opinions, they're not going to do a thing for you. But if I tell you what the Word says and tell you what the Father says, that has supernatural power. And the same goes for the enemy. If you get into reading the things of the enemy, which something that I just happened to see the other day, on my desk, I have a lot of research material. And on my shelf, I have, the Satanic Bible, and I have the it's Buckler's Complete Book of Witchcraft, and I have, the Necronomicon. But it was the Necronomicon that caught my eye. We have this new variant called Omicron. Well, I just happened to notice that Omicron is part of the word Necronomicon. And this is a demonic book. Things that make you just go, I don't believe in coincidences, because everything that's going on has been planned a long time ago. We're talking about entities that are immortal. They have been using mankind for generations to bring about their agenda. And, you know, the demonic sigils, it's now used in every building, every electrical diagram, every motor, every relay is a type of a demonic sigil. And that gives legal right for spirits to abide there. Remember, they've had generations and generations and generations to figure out ways to bend the law. And it's just now that where people are waking up to the truth of we're to be actually keeping the law and Torah of the Father. And the enemy is doing anything and everything he can do to keep people from coming to the knowledge of the truth. You know, making, his television, his movies, his music, whatever, more desirable than the things of the Father, if possible, because the enemy always wants to appeal to the flesh of man. Everybody knows this, sex sells. And I guarantee, these so-called ministers, female ministers, that, wear these tight, low-cut dresses and these real short dresses and all that, where they're allowing that skin to show. I can tell you right off the bat, it's Jezebel. Because you'll not find anywhere in the Word of God that says that that's allowable. And, the Bible does say that women are not to have power over teaching men. I know a lot of people are going to get mad at that, but the Word of God is the Word of Yahuwah. And what it says, it means. And I know I'm going to get a lot of hate mail over that. But, hey, take it up with the Father. There's a reason that, there was only 2 women ever used for prophetic. That was Dinah and Anna. One in the old, one in the new. I'll leave that at that. Because it just causes trouble, because there's pride and arrogance, because that whole movement of the feminazi. Need I say more? Opening a can of worms I didn't want to open. My point in everything is the devil is in the details today. You've seen the truth about Disney. You figure 666 is in the Walt Disney name. The toys that they give out to, the children, they're corrupt. That's like the music industry. People think, why listen to Christian music? Well, guess what? They give out Grammy Awards and all that for these Christian artists too. And if you ever listen to these singers, songwriters, and all that have come to the truth, and listen to what they have to say about all of the rituals that's done over the music before it's ever published to the public. It's all about souls in the end. And if the enemy can get you hooked on music, television, porn, whatever of this world, you're guilty of doing the opposite of what the Father told you. The friend of the world is the enemy of Yahuwah. And a person who loves the world, the love of the Father is not in. Do what thy will should be the whole of the law, is the main theme of our adversary. He will give you whatever you want. People subscribe to the prosperity gospel that you can pray to the Father and He will give you money. He'll give you houses or cars. But yet, Christ said, forsake yourself and follow Him. Every rich person that He ever come across, that the Father got a hold of, sold all their possessions and gave it to the poor and took up their cross and followed Him. In all my years on this plane of existence, one thing I have learned is it's the evil people that usually end up with bukus and bukus and bukus of money, cars, houses, and all that. Because the enemy has all that to offer. He owns it all. Figure, our adversary personally offered all the kingdoms of this whole world to Yeshua if he would just bow down and worship him. And now he'll give it to whoever will take it for their soul. You know, Christ did say it was impossible for a rich man to go to the kingdom of Yahuwah. And it disturbed the disciples so much that they run to him and said, how then can someone be saved? And Christ said, that which is impossible with man is possible with Yahuwah. And the very next thing you see is the story of Zacchaeus. Zacchaeus, a rich man who was a corrupt man who ripped people off. He called him out of the tree, went to his house for dinner. And Zacchaeus confessed to Christ all the people he had ripped off. He said he would make it right and pay them 4 times what he owed them. And he would give away all that he had and follow him. And then Christ says, this day salvation has come to this house. From that day forward, Zacchaeus was no longer a rich man. The things of the world. Yeah, money's nice. New cars. I'm pretty sure they're nice. Brand new homes. Brilliant furniture and, all this stuff. But all that's nice. But when judgment comes and the Father sets everything on fire, what will you have left? Out of everything that makes you you in this world, what will you have left when everything's set on fire? I don't have a lot. I don't care either. I know that I'm passing through, and I know my days are numbered. I'm not promised my next breath, my next heartbeat. Each and every breath, each and every heartbeat I know is a gift of the Father. I know that the day is coming that I'll have to account for every idle word that I have ever spoke. And even though, there are people who say, I'm full of pride because I do what I can to reach out and give people information. I'm not prideful. I truly do it out of love because I want people to see the truth. Without the truth, there's death. There's deception. There's darkness. And there's lies. The devil is in the details. We should examine everything about our existence here. What we eat, what we drink, how we spend our time. What we choose to partake in and what we refuse to partake in. The way we judge other things. We're commanded to abide by and keep the law and the Torah of Yahuwah. And this covers every area of our life. We judge according to the law. We live according to the law. We deal with other people according to the law. Everything that we do, say, think, is to line up according to the law and Torah of Yahuwah. By examining the details, you'll find the devil, and you'll not be fooled. I liken it to a contract nowadays. And really, it applies to everything. Whether you download an app, the things that you use on your phone, credit cards, bank account, buying a car, buying a house. There's this part of a contract that most people never pay attention to. And that is the fine print. And in that fine print is usually all the juicy details of the contract. All the ways that they screw you over and take advantage of you. And nobody ever reads it, and they just sign the contract and go on. Because they just want that car, or they just want that app, or they just want this, that, or whatever. And they just sign, dotted line, go on. And that's what people have been doing with the devil. They just listen to the music. They just watch that program. They just judge people this way. Or they look at and judge and think this way. They demonize all this other stuff, but yet they don't never look at themselves. The devil is in the details. So I ask you, are you paying attention to the details? Are you going along with the masses because countless millions of people believe that we're all going to fly away one day? Do you believe that way too? Because there's no way in the world that all them people could be wrong, but yet, according to the details, when you read the word of Yahuwah, the masses were never right. It was always the small groups of people, or just the single prophet that would come and point the finger at them. And what did they do? They usually killed the prophet because they didn't want to be condemned. They wanted to do it their way. My question to you is this: are you living as that one single prophet pointing the finger? Or are you one of the ones that wants to kill the prophet, the person speaking the truth? When you decide to truly live for the Father, you will abundantly know the devil's in the details. Because you're going to have to learn to point out the devil in all the situations that people choose to be involved in or a part of. And even then, when they're confronted with the sheer unadulterated truth, most people will say, I don't think the Father would care. I've heard it from my own family. I don't think the Father is going to care that I eat pork. I don't think the Father is going to care that I go to church on Sunday. I don't think that the Father is going to care about this, that, whatever. The devil's in the details. Absolute right. Absolute wrong. People have forgot what it means to be holy. I'll close with this. Yahuwah, our Creator, is a holy God. And when He says something, it stands forever. Now, if you remember, at one time there was an Ark of a Covenant. And in the Ark of the Covenant was 3 things. Aaron's rod that budded, tablets of the 10 Commandments, and the bowl of manna. Now, the Philistines had captured the Ark of the Covenant. Well, Father smote the Philistines with all these plagues, and they decided they didn't want it no more. So they sent it back to the Israelites. And as it was going, an individual named, some people call it Uzzah or Uzziah, whichever. He saw that the road was bumpy, and about the time the cart that the Ark of the Covenant was on hit a bump, and it was about ready to fall off the cart. But yet Father, when they made the Ark of the Covenant, said no unclean man can touch the Ark. Only the priests were allowed to touch the Ark after being cleansed. And anyone who touched the ark that wasn't clean or a priest will surely die. Fast forward. The person saw that the ark was getting ready to fall off the cart and possibly be broke. And he, looking to do a good thing, reached out and grabbed the cart and the Ark of the Covenant to push it back on the cart. And he fell dead. But yet he was trying to do a good thing. Surely the Father wouldn't care that he touched the ark to save it from being broke. Right? I'm sure Uzzah, when he saw the ark getting ready to fall, he knew that he probably shouldn't touch it, but he didn't want it to break. And he thought he was doing a good thing because the Father wouldn't care. Would he? There's so much other stuff going on in the world. The Father is not going to care that I'm eating pork or going to church on Sunday or believing these half-truths and half-lies. Putting all my effort into the man's doctrine, celebrating the beast feasts, doing what the world does instead of doing what the Father says to do. Surely he's not going to care. Fact of the matter is, right is right and wrong is wrong. The devil is in the details. Don't let the world hide the details. Don't just go along. Don't just sign your name to the contract. Look for the devil in the details. It's that simple. Maybe in a rabbit trail to get here, but trying to organize all the things that is in my head's kind of rough at times. Another point on what I just said is the fact that there's going to be a lot of people that's going to burn. And they honestly never seen it coming because in their mind, they just knew they were fine. Even though they're eating pork, not celebrating the feasts of the Father, and celebrating the beast feasts, which is wrong, because we're commanded not to do as the pagan does. We're not to do as the world does. We're supposed to be separate. The devil is in the details. I don't know how much plainer I can be. And it's something that we all need to look at. You know, you've got somebody bothering you about a certain truth that you just think they're, lying to you or just they're deceived. You never can tell. Maybe they have a point and you're just being prideful, not listening to it. The devil is in the details. I'm going to leave it at that. Just a little food for thought. It's on my mind today. I've seen a lot of it going on today. And it's sad that you can't even talk to the people. Reminds me of the story of the rich man and Lazarus. The one that went to hell said, please just send someone back from the dead to tell my brothers. And he was told they have the law of Moses and the prophets. If they won't hear that, they won't listen to someone raised from the dead. That's kind of harsh. I'm leaving it at that. Until next time, I love you. Keep seeking the face of the Father and working the relationship. Definitely something to be aware about. The devil is in the details, and he is hell-bent on deceiving you and taking your soul just to keep you from the Father. Choose you this day in whom you'll serve. And if you're going to serve, that means you have to do all that you can do to not be fooled, to not be pulled to the other side. The Father's calling us back to holiness. And it's not an easy thing. But I know this, He will help you every step of the way if you'll just cry out to Him and keep your eyes focused upon Him. He'll show you what needs to be changed. He'll show you where you're deceived. He'll show you where you've been fooled. He'll show you your weak areas. He'll show you your strengths. So, until next time, evaluate yourself. Really look at the things that you're involved in and doing and a part of. Judge how you're spending your time. So, with that, keep fighting the good fight of faith. See you in the next video.